Okay, I'm recording. I see red, and not in an angry way, just in a I'm recording sort of way.
All right, I'm recording as well. Ready to
Holla!
go.
Oh my goodness, guys, we're back. It's episode 2 of what I think we're gonna call Wingin' It. Is that what we're going with?
Winging it, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's like we're not even winging it. It's like we had a plan, but we don't.
Yeah. We that would be a false impression.
Well,
No, we do have a plan. We do pretty good plans.
yeah, we've got a great plan. Today, our plan is to talk about episode 2 of The West Wing, our favorite, post hoc
It's a great plan.
ergo propter hoc.
A little bit of Latin
It's
for us there.
the real kind of Latin. No pigs were involved.
No.
We're real fancy.
It is real Latin.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Good times.
So fun.
Well, what did we think of this episode, Sally?
I like this episode, personally. I think, if we just want to jump right in, I did not like the opening scene of this episode.
Yeah, so what?
Because it involves our favorite character, Mandy.
Mandy. Wah,
Boo.
wah. Yeah, and she was in like a rage. So what happens in the opening scene?
In the opening scene, homegirl, dummy dum dum, drives her car onto the sidewalk, which of course is going to ruin your suspense. Like, I don't know what she thought she was doing. Like, she literally, not only she drove down the sidewalk, there were like bars there. I don't know what she thought she was doing, but sane people don't do that.
No.
And I don't understand. To me, it was very unrealistic because I don't understand how this, like, she's supposed to be very, like, high-powered and, like, respected. Like,
Yeah.
they really want her. Like, everybody wants Mandy. But she's actually a little cuckoo pants. And I just didn't enjoy how, like, hysterical she was. But the actual meat of the scene is important because something has gone wrong.
Lloyd Russell,
in her eyes, something's gone wrong.
Yeah, Lloyd Russell made a deal that Mandy didn't like.
Yes. And she's yelling at him.
She says that it was supposed to be our Nessun Dorma, which I thought was fun because it's a Puccini opera, which I learned. Okay, so I actually listened to Nessun Dorma this weekend multiple times, as it would happen. I didn't pick it, someone else did, and I was like, that's weird, because we're going to talk about that in post hoc ergo propter hoc, and everybody looked at me like I had 10 heads. But actually, did you know that Puccini didn't write Nessun Dorma? I don't know if you're familiar with the song, but he wrote the whole rest.
I could not be less familiar.
Okay.
That reference went totally over my head. I was the moron. I wouldn't even have been the moron because the other guy was like, oh, that's an Italian, whatever he said. Yeah. I wouldn't have even been close. I wouldn't have known it was an opera. I wouldn't have known anything.
It's one of those songs where, like, if you need a stock, not like a stock photo of something, but like a stock, like, hey, I need an opera sample. Like, that's probably the one that you've heard.
Okay.
So you probably know it.
Is it really, I mean, because I sort of understood the reference to mean, like, it was supposed to be, like, our Mona Lisa or our Sistine Chapel or something like that.
See, context
so
clues, guys.
I still got the gist of it, yeah.
These are good skills. Yeah, and actually, funny tidbit about Nessun Dorma. Michael Bolton sang it on his opera CD, which is weird in general. And then Aretha Franklin sang it at the Grammys once. Just saying. Just a fun fact.
Oh, you are an opera nerd.
just a little bit. Okay, anyway, so Lloyd Russell basically made a deal that means he's not going to run for office, which was the whole point. And Mandy is so mad.
Her whole job.
She's so mad that she's going to take off her shoe and beat him with it, apparently.
That was a little silly.
And she says the worst part about this is that they're having a party in the West Wing at my expense, or because of this, you know. And he's like,
yeah.
No, these are serious people, and a deal was struck today for party unity. Like, everybody wins, and, you know, whatever. And they just set it up so well for the next scene, which is just wonderful.
It is the most wonderful. It is one of my favorite, top 5 easy Josh Lyman lines. Maybe lines in general. It's one of my absolute favorites of the whole series, where Josh, you know, opens it, he comes out of his door and says, I drink from the keg of glory, Donna. Bring me the finest muffins and bagels in all the land.
It's true. It's just wonderful. Victory is mine. Victory is a great line. Great day in the morning, people. Victory is mine.
It is just, and Bradley Whitford just does it so well.
Oh.
Because he's pompous, but he's charming. Like he's this, and this is throughout the series that he has these super arrogant moments, but he's so
likable.
I mean, charming is just the only word I can think. Yeah, he's still so likable, and that's the great thing that he brings to this character is that the ability to do those things. That even when he's being annoying, he's being adorable.
Yeah, I don't find any of it annoying. I don't.
No. But you might if it was a different actor or a different style of character.
Totally true. Bradley Whitford. Shout out to Brad. Brad, we would love for you to be on this podcast.
Can you come on the podcast?
Hashtag come on winging it. It was so good.
Whitford for winging it.
Whitford for
there you go.
Yes, thank you for that. I love a good hashtag.
You're welcome.
We'll start that campaign as soon as we get this going.
Yeah. As soon as we start a Twitter.
Yeah, we'll see what we can do. Not sure if I mentioned this last time. I don't think I did, but the title theme sounds like a MIDI keyboard. It's like not the full orchestration.
No.
So if you're listening to it,
and it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, if you're rewatching, then you already know this, and if you don't, then you're thinking, man, they really need to loosen the purse strings on the theme song, and we're all like, yeah,
on the intro, yeah, let's spice that up a little bit.
But don't worry about it; it will change. So cool. All right, well, moving right on. What else happens in this episode?
We follow the Mandy storyline a little bit of Mandy being brought into the White House. But, like, if we're going in order, this is a great scene soon after the Josh scene is Toby and Miss Landingham talking.
Yes.
Because he can't have a cookie.
Yeah.
That's the best part is she's like, can I have a cookie? No. And then she wants Sam to have a cookie. I literally love everything that Miss Landingham does.
It's pretty great. I love it. Toby asks if the president has time, and Mrs. Landingham says, the president has nothing but time. Currently, he's in the residence eating Oreos and watching Regis and Kathy Lee. Man, there's a 90s throwback for you.
That was a 90s throwback, but I love how sassy Miss Landingham is. She's the bomb. Like, I just want it to be a whole episode of Miss Landingham, you know? Of her being sassy to all the other staffers.
Yeah, I want a super cut of the whole thing. Because Toby says, sarcasm is a disturbing thing coming from a woman of your age. And she says, and what age would that be?
What age is that?
Late 20s? That a boy.
Yeah. That whole scene was really cute, so
it's pretty great.
I like that. Yeah.
And then they all gather in the Oval to meet with the president about something. And I remember them saying that the president is scheduled for 3 things in the same 45 minutes because CJ wants to talk about his humor. He had made a joke that didn't land well, and she wants to deal with it. And can you imagine being on the scheduling team, like his administrative staff? How the heck do you schedule the president? I mean, I can't. Yeah. I can't
imagine. I would probably love it because I really love scheduling. I really love planning.
Well, who doesn't?
Like, I'm very much a planner.
Yeah.
So I would probably love making all the pieces fit, but it would be incredibly stressful. I don't know how you pick what gets done and when it gets done.
And how much do you overbook? Because there's nothing worse than having nothing going on when you know that there's so much more you could be doing. So it's like you kind of have to overbook like an airplane. They overbook it.
Yeah.
But you also can't overbook it to the point where you can't get to it. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Right. Because there are a couple episodes where people have to, I mean, it's few and far between, but I do remember moments throughout the series where there are people waiting for the president or people, I remember one where people literally have to be put up in a hotel because he can't get to them in time.
Yeah.
That day. So yeah, it's, I don't know. Tricky business. Tricky.
And this is where we have the 27 lawyers in the room.
I was just about to say that because, and I can't tell if he's but it's not a big enough number to be a hyperbole. You know what I mean? It's not a big enough number for him to be oh, there's 100 lawyers in the room. There's no way there's 27 people in that room.
He was shooting low. I think
maybe 10.
I think he was shooting for hyperbole, but didn't quite make it.
And didn't get that far. Yeah, I'm hoping that's what it was.
And then,
he just picked a random number.
He's asking who understands what post hoc ergo propter hoc means, which, duh, of course we know because we've seen this a couple times.
I speak Latin fluently.
Yeah, who doesn't? So basically it's, shoot, I had it written down here. After, therefore, because of.
That's cool.
So
Yeah.
then Morris is the doctor who comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Leo talks to him. Leo basically wants to bring him on as like a special personal physician to the president or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yes.
And I guess his wife just had a baby, and he's got a picture, and Margaret's there. I think this is the first time we've met Margaret. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
Leo's assistant?
I think it is the first time we've met Margaret. And I guess this is a good moment to talk about, because this moment kind of bugged me just a smidge. But it was just like, these moments just rub me the wrong way. But it's a good time to talk about Sorkin and the criticism that some people have of Sorkin of how he writes women.
True. That is a thing.
Because surely, I mean, we've both heard this, that like people are critical of that he writes them not weak, like he writes strong female characters in some aspects, but there are moments that are just not so good for the women. And I think this is one of them. I don't know. How would you explain it? The criticism.
I don't know, because I don't have a strong opinion about it. But I know that I have strong opinions about most things that are not important. But something like this, I suddenly lack an opinion.
I wouldn't even categorize my opinion about it as strong, because like I'm not like watching the show and like super offended, if that makes sense. But there are moments that just like, you could have just left it out.
Maybe it seems like there are moments where a woman seems like a caricature. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where it's like, this is what a woman does. Or, the kind of like hysterical driving up onto a sidewalk thing where like a man would never do that.
A man
but they're
would
like,
never
oh,
do
well,
that.
she's probably
And
hormonal.
And a man would ever take off his shoe and say, I could just kill you with my shoes. That whole scene was a little
Although that would be funny,
especially
I think.
It would be pretty funny. But especially for someone who, like I said, is supposed to be so respected and so high profile, for her to be so hysterical. It's just not, it doesn't go along with the character.
So I guess the same thing was with Margaret, and Leo was trying to distract her with the photo of Morris's wife.
So I guess I could explain the scene. Yeah, Margaret is getting on to him about something, and Leo literally hands her a picture of this new baby and is like, look, a mom and new baby, and Margaret's immediately like, oh, and it's just like, okay, well, whatever. Because he would never have done that if it were Sam or Toby. You know what I mean? So it's just tiny, it's tiny moments like that don't make me, it's not like, oh, I'm going to quit watching, oh, you don't write women well. Like, yeah, maybe that is how some women would react, but it's just, it's a little, like, I don't know, they're just cartoonish women.
It's like a broad stroke sketch of what a woman is.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. And the phrase, he does say, Leo later says that CJ is a good girl.
Or Toby
in this episode.
Probably does.
Well, you know what? Leo, we'll talk about it later. There is another episode where Toby literally says to CJ, good girl. But in this episode, when Leo's talking to the vice president, he says, CJ would never write you out. She's a good girl.
Yeah.
And maybe he meant it as in, like, she's a good woman, but he wouldn't have said Sam's a good boy. You know, I mean, so it's teeny tiny things like that. And there is some debate about whether it's written intentionally, because the world is a sexist place, and, you know, maybe it is put in there intentionally because that's how that's the kind of thing that women really face. But I'm not so sure about that one.
Yeah. Speaking of women, I spotted some as we transition to the next scene where Mandy has to tell her assistant that they lost their only client. I saw another 90s reference, platform wedge sandals, which I killed in the 7th grade. They were the same shoes that the Spice Girls had. Not trying to alienate any of our male listeners by talking about shoes and women's issues, but I'm just saying those platform wedge sandals.
They can just press that 15-second fast forward button.
Just jump ahead. So this is something that's relevant right now. So Josh and Donna have a little conversation about a basketball pool that she bet on for him, and he lost because she bet Central Indiana State versus Notre Dame, which is just Donna. Oh,
Donna. It's such a cute moment, though, and this is, I mean, we're already starting to see the dynamic between Donna and Josh, because this character, and it really is all a credit to the actress, I think, because this character could have been annoying or just like a minor character, but it's the way that they, well, and credit to Bradley Whitford too, but it's the way that they interact that makes it what it is, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's very, I just love it.
It's great. Just a nice little comic relief in between all of these important things. So then CJ has a press briefing, and I just always love a press briefing scene because I don't think there's always something interesting that happens. I
Yeah.
think,
And
it's
I just
always a
love,
tipping point.
speaking of the Sorkin writing women, there's something I love about CJ just commanding the room the way she does. I mean, because she owns this press room. So, I mean, she has a couple moments throughout the series where she slips up, but like for the most part, she is just running things. And I do love that every time she gets up there. I'm just like, you get them, CJ.
I love it. However, I'm wondering. It feels a little Hollywood to me
Does
because
it?
yeah, it does because she's a lot of times she wins the room because she's being charming and evasive. And does that really work in politics? Like
I
I
think it
haven't
really
I don't have
works
C-SPAN.
when I think she uses her charm. There are times when the answer is just no, and that's all there is to it, and she uses her charm to say that without saying it. And like I
Mm-hmm.
think there's just more of an understanding between the press and her that like, okay, like the answer is no, and I could either just say I'm not going to answer it, or I could say something charming. And like I think they just get that, if that makes sense. But I see what you're saying
Right. I'm
about
just
like
wondering if
sometimes she just
that's
totally
at all
doesn't answer
realistic.
questions. Right,
You know?
right.
I need to turn on C-SPAN and find out for myself.
Yeah.
Probably won't see CJ Craig up there and I'll cry.
No.
Okay, so moving on from there, Sam tells Josh about Lori.
Well, and but quick insert is that the
Oh,
vice president storyline comes up in that
yes.
press briefing first too. So that just comes up. We hear that the vice president has made some sort of comment. He said something like, "This is the time the president needs our support," which I don't really get why that's a problem, but apparently that's a problem, and it comes up in that press briefing.
That was a little bit strange. It doesn't seem like, who doesn't like support? I like support. President probably likes support.
It means a lot to the White House staff that he said that, and they're all up in arms, and I don't think that we're ever really explained, or maybe we're just supposed to know, which is credit to Sorkin that he never treats his viewers as idiot. You know, like he's not going to hold your hand through anything. But so maybe we're just supposed to know why that sounds strained, but it doesn't to me.
I guess it kind of puts the VP in a stronger stance than the president. You know, like, maybe this is like a time when he needs the president. Yeah, and I think that's the ongoing struggle with them, which we can already tell.
Or it implies that he needs support, like he's weak, so he needs support. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It just seemed like there could have been more meat to that, but yeah.
Like a backhanded compliment. So
right, that makes sense.
So Sam tells Josh about Lori,
yeah,
which is also hilarious.
Yeah, and I think it's at this point that, because I made a comment in the last episode about how, really Josh doesn't get his own coffee, but I think it's in this moment that Josh, Donna had never brought Josh coffee, and I was like, really? But in this moment, Josh gets his own coffee and walks it back to his office, so I guess that showed me, and now I know that Josh gets his own coffee. Yep.
Yeah, he's his own man.
Sorry,
I mean,
Sorkin,
I would bring him coffee if he wanted.
Yeah, I would too. I would too.
But I would get there first, and I would make it right.
Anyway.
And then from there, CJ goes to talk to Hoynes, the vice president, and he's totally condescending to her. What the heck? Terrible. How do you feel about John Hoynes?
I feel sort of indifferent. I mean, I don't like him. But I like this. I like the sort of tension and the sort of back and forth that he and the president have throughout the series.
I don't.
So I like his storylines because I like that we hate him. But he actually, before I watched The West Wing, I'm not ashamed to admit, but I knew him before from a CW show called Heart of Dixie, where he plays a really goofy dad.
Yes. That's right.
So, I knew him from that, and
you're like, what are you doing over here, dude?
Yeah. So then I come in, and he's the freaking vice president, and I'm like, I don't know about this. I'm not so sure. You got an upgrade. You got a promotion. Yeah.
Or something.
So, that's a little fun fact about that. That is kind of hard for me to take him seriously because I've seen him be so goofy, but character-wise, we do hate him a lot, but I like Because I just think the dynamic in general between president and vice president is so interesting, because the vice president is somebody who clearly had high political aspirations in general, not even in the show, but in general. I think the dynamic of having someone who wants so much power end up in such a sort of powerless position, I think that's an interesting thing. So it's cool that they explore that.
I was really surprised when I started watching the show that the chief of staff seemed to have way more influence and power than the VP, or at least that's what it appears to be. And that's something I had not anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think so.
Leo,
it's very interesting. Also, throughout this, though, I had written down, and we should mention that throughout the episode, they're looking for a media director.
Yes.
Because they, which I was confused about, like, why do we really need a media director all of a sudden? Like, Bartlett's been in office for like a year-ish or a little more. And there's no reference to the fact that they already have one that like needs to be replaced. It's just, it seemed like a strange storyline just to bring Mandy in. And I was just like, why all of a sudden do we need this? Let's not.
Yeah. I guess that would have fallen under Toby, under communications. So he's probably just maxed out. And he's like, he's a wordsmith. He's busy writing stuff. He didn't have time to watch The View and make sure that all of Bartlett's jokes were well received. So I guess they should have someone.
I mean, I guess
maybe not Mandy, but somebody.
Well, definitely not Mandy. It just seems strange that it took them a year. Whatever. It's fine. It's just
it was just to get her on the show. I think
it literally was just to get Mandy on the show. Which throughout the whole episode, while Josh and Toby and Josh and Sam and everybody are talking about it, Josh is like, "It's not going to be Mandy, right?" And I just really get her. It really to me feels like thou doth protest too much, Josh. Like, he's just saying it shouldn't be Mandy, but like he knows it's going to be Mandy. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
She's like, yeah, okay, we get it. You don't want it to be Mandy, but you're just saying that so that you can be on record as saying it's not going to be Mandy.
Yeah, well, for the record, we're with you, Josh. It's not because of the actress, I don't think, but it's just the character. Is there's not enough likability to her. That's all I'm going to say. So then Morris comes and has a scene in the Oval Office with Bartlett, and it just made me feel nostalgic because. Remember the days when people used to carry photos with them, like actual photos, and he asked to see a photo of his wife, and he actually handed him a piece of paper. I thought that was just nice.
Was cute. Yeah, the whole scene was cute. Like he talks about hypnotizing the wife. To get married.
How'd you get your wife to marry?
Trick your Their whole little scene is very cute and charming. I liked that. I liked that. I liked the whole scene.
If you had to, if you could hypnotize somebody into marrying you, who would be your celebrity choice? Not from. Let's do one within the West Wing, and let's do one present.
What?
I'm sorry, that's not fair. Okay, fine. Let's not pick a West Wing person because then we would just choose the same person.
Obviously, it would both be Josh for us. Yeah. Outside the West Wing, I mean, I guess I would say Benedict Cumberbatch, but I also.
Still?
I don't know.
He's still your number one?
He's pretty close to number one because he's such a gentleman. He's so classy. But
I love that. Classy.
But
he can't say the word penguins,
I don't know
apparently.
if he could make me laugh as much as I want to laugh. So it might be someone like Justin Timberlake or Chris Pratt. I really enjoy a dude that can make me laugh. Like, make me laugh and... I don't know. That's True. The key for me. So
that's a good call.
Tough. Yeah. So what about you?
Good times. Oh, I mean, if James McAvoy weren't already married, but that ship has long since sailed. So I don't really know of any single people in the world.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't know any single.
Well, Bradley
Whitford,
everybody
I named is
in
married.
Real life.
So
Bradley Whitford.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Single, but
Well, there you go.
Whatever. So then we have another Josh and Donna scene. She's trying to enter him into another basketball pool. Blah blah blah. It's delightful. Then we cut to Mandy is at her apartment or her office or both, and she's day drinking with her assistant, and she it's just kind of full of herself, and
She's so
it's
full of herself. This is the time when she says those lines about, look how young and cute I am. Like, it just
yeah.
doesn't, we can't, I don't know if it's the actress in this, but those lines just don't fit that character. Like, maybe someone like Josh could pull those off, or even Sam, but it's just something about the way it's delivered, and it's something about this character, because I actually
We
think
don't
she's full
like
of
her
herself.
enough yet
Right,
for her
yeah.
to.
If it was somebody who, like, we knew wasn't that cocky, they could
Yeah.
sort of pull that off, but somebody who we actually think is a little it doesn't sound as good. It's not as
Right.
endearing as it was meant to be.
Yes, totally agree. So from there, Sam goes and tells Toby about Lori, his call girl mistake, and it's hilarious. I just love Toby. His delivery is
Yeah,
just so subtle. He
it's
doesn't need to
perfect.
like
Well, his
draw
line about
attention to it.
Sam says, "I accidentally slept with the call girl," and Toby's like, "I don't understand. Did you trip over something?" I
Which
think
maybe
that's,
he did. That could explain a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe he has terrible balance.
There's another sort of unrealistic, not unrealistic, but Sam throughout this episode wants to still be friends with Lori and wants to reform her or whatever. And it's the same, for me, it's the same thing as Mandy, as like, really, is somebody in this high power and this educated and this smart to be in this position, is he really dumb enough to not see the danger in this? And like, you've known
It's
this girl
so
for
dumb.
a day. Like, it just doesn't seem worth sacrificing everything. I get Sam's whole thing about like, we should be held to a higher, like he feels like it's annoying that he hasn't done anything wrong and he shouldn't be whatever, but like, I just don't agree with him on this one. I think you're in a position of power and you should probably distance yourself as much as possible from call girls.
It's like I see his point. He wants the reality of the truth of the situation to be good enough, but in his position, it has to be what it appears to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be difficult.
It would ring more true, or I would be more on his side if he had known this girl forever and had like just run into her and now she's a call girl and he wants to help her. But like, he's literally known this girl for like not even 24 hours, you know? Like, or has interacted with her for like 24 hours. So it's just like, whatever.
And she didn't even know what POTUS was. So, I mean, come on. Really? Like, these are all not things that you would probably choose in a lifelong friendship.
Right.
But I guess
I
Sam,
agree.
I don't know. So then we have a little short scene with Landingham and Bartlett about he's supposed to cut out red meat because Morris told him to, and and Mrs. Landingham is basically being a mother, a nice figure, because we haven't met Mrs. Bartlett yet. That will happen. Dr. Bartlett.
Dr. Bartlett,
So far we just have Mrs. Landingham.
It's a very cute, it's a very cute motherly moment where he's like, where Bartlett's like, that's just a t-shirt. Like, I don't think that's all they left me. And she's like, and he's like, no, I think they left me some steaks. It's just cute. It's just very charming dialogue. I feel like I use charming too much, but then everybody should just stop being so charming, and I would stop.
Except they shouldn't, because we like it.
That's true.
We'll just find a thesaurus.
Keep being charming. I'll find a thesaurus,
What's another name for thesaurus? How about that? That's a question with no answer.
I'm
Not
stumped.
one at all.
Not one at all.
Okay, so then from there, Josh goes to offer Mandy the job, which, again, very cute. Just the way that he...
It is very cute. He comes in like a knight in shining armor. I mean, he just like opens the door and he's like, how about Bartlett? Like, he in that moment, I wish Mandy wasn't on the receiving end, but Josh is very cute in this moment.
Yeah. I'm confused about the continuity of this scene, though, because... He says, I'd prefer it if you guys didn't get drunk in the middle of the day, but we just came from Landingham and Bartlett leaving for the end of the day.
Yeah.
Which is, like, dark outside.
Well, maybe it's...
And it looks dark outside.
It does look dark outside. Maybe the assumption is just that he knows they've been drinking all day. Like, he knows that they didn't just start drinking. But, yeah, I agree with that. I thought the same thing.
How drunk are they? It's like evening. They could have had a 5 o'clock cocktail.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know they were day drinking. I think the continuity's off.
Yeah. But also, the way he comes into this room goes back to the point about, like, he was just protesting just to protest. Like, he comes in and he seems pretty excited to hire Mandy. Maybe he's excited to have, like, the power over her, but he seems pretty...
It. Yeah, it's...
He seems pretty excited about it.
He's not, I don't think he's excited about that, honestly. But I do think he's excited to be in the position of power. So...
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Whatever. And the only women he ever gets to see are generally women that are in his line of work.
Yeah.
So can you blame him?
Nah.
We'll have more opinions on the women folk of the lineman lineup.
Oh,
down
many
the road.
opinions to come.
There are opinions. And then we go to the last, which is probably not the last scene. There's a couple more scenes. So Leo talks to John Hoynes about CJ, and man alive, again, Hoynes is all, I've headed up to here with you and your pal, and he's referring to the president as your pal. And really, that's no good. But Leo's telling him, you need to respect CJ. I mean, duh. Why are we even having this conversation?
Right.
Because he's such a jerk. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
He's so cavalier.
He definitely is. I think he's got a lot of bitterness, which is not an excuse, but I like that he has dimension. I like that he's not just, I don't know, we find out more about him later on, obviously, but I as much as we hate him, I like the dynamic between the vice president and the president and Leo.
I will make mention that as an actor, I got nervous with the line, I've had it up to here with you and your pal, because there's like, it can be so cheesy, and then also just in terms of your choice as an actor, like, how do you actually physically manifest up to where you've had it up to? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can just see him like, how do I approach that line?
Yeah.
For whatever reason, that
makes
kind
sense.
of made me nervous.
I do.
But it was fine.
I love when people, it happens a few times scattered throughout the series. I love when people don't pay proper respect to the president and somebody else, either his staff or the president himself, puts them in their place. Like if somebody refers to him as Mr. Bartlett, or if somebody, the pal or whatever, or something like that. Or there's a very famous scene where somebody is sitting when they should be standing for the president. Moments like that, which is, West Wing fans will know exactly what I'm talking about, but moments like that when they're like, I'm the president. I love those moments because Bartlett's so endearing and so like friendly to us that sometimes the audience forgets too. So it's fun to have those moments of like, oh wait, no, I'm still the president, so get yourself in check.
I wonder if Barack does that. I would like to see it.
I think so. I think if somebody was,
I don't think he's allowed to do that publicly.
Was like not back talking, but if somebody was not showing the proper respect, I would for sure be like, excuse me, you're talking to the president. Like, I'm the president of the United States. You know what I mean? Like, I would imagine
so we probably just wouldn't get to be friends with you.
Yeah.
Like, if we're all, like, hanging out at Chili's and you're just, something's not going right, you'd be like, hey, remember who I am. And then you're like, you're buying those chips and queso. And we're like, that's right. President Sallie.
Yeah. President Sallie. Ooh,
that's how it would go down. Oh, no, don't let it go to your head. You got to run first. But now we know who you would get to run the campaign.
Yep.
Josh Lyman.
Duh. Gotta have the best.
So then Sam goes to the bar and he sees Lori with another client. Again, this is just not going to go well. And I'm just wondering, is Sam that lonely? Does he just really need someone to talk to?
I just don't get it.
Like he just tries to talk to her and says, well, I had a good day.
Yeah.
He's offering up answers to a question that nobody asked. Yeah. And it's like, oh, poor Sam.
It's a weird, I just don't get it. But at one point in this scene,
I like her.
I like her a lot. But at one point in this scene, she says that she likes what she does. And that line was just like, okay. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know if I buy that. Like, I just don't know. That line, I was just like, and that's all I'll say.
You would have to do more research into that.
It just seems like,
rabbit hole.
Do you really? Maybe you like how much money you make. Maybe you like being in power. But, like, I just can't imagine.
You're having a Dr. Phil moment with Lori.
Yeah, I definitely am. But that scene ends.
And I do like her as an actress.
I do. I like her a lot. But that scene ends with Sam having a cute line where Lori's like, "So is this where you tell me state secrets?" And he's like, "To be honest with you, I don't know any state secrets." And that's cute because he's just, it's just a cute scene of him being humble and playing it down.
Yeah, and she says, "You realize I make more money than you, right?"
Yeah.
And he says, "You and any kid with a decent paper route."
Yeah.
It's awesome.
They're cute lines, yeah.
And the exterior shots are really beautiful,
Yes.
I must say. I really like whoever their DP was.
Yeah.
Well done, you. Coming from someone who doesn't know anything about any of that, I just thought it looked pretty. And then I think the last scene, it's 3:30 in the morning, and everybody is apparently at the White House.
Yeah, which is not
Everybody's
a good
there.
sign. Which I wonder, I wrote this down, I wonder, Josh and Sam are there already. Do you think that they were just called before the president, or were they already at the White House?
Yes.
You think they were just called before the president? Like they wanted to get themselves together before they woke the president up?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they would know before they wake up the president.
I guess.
But
yeah.
I don't know if that's something that they would be called in for.
Yeah.
I guess they would. I just don't know why they ever leave. I guess
I think they just need apartments in the West Wing.
And I don't think we mentioned, but we need to, that Nancy. Yes. We haven't talked about Nancy yet.
And I don't know if it's the first time we see her, but it's a fun fact. Some of our listeners probably know this, but a fun fact that Nancy, she plays one of the president's secretaries. Nancy is actually Martin Sheen's daughter.
She's a real life Estevez. Yes. And I had no idea.
Yeah. Renee Estevez. So that's a fun little tidbit. And I think she is sprinkled throughout the entire series too. I can't remember when she goes out, but
anytime she was home from college or needed a summer job.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, Dad, can I come be on a primetime hit television show?
Yeah, so that's a fun fact. Which I do think is fun. I know Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez work together a pretty good bit, which I'm just a huge Emilio Estevez fan because I'm a huge Mighty Ducks fan. And there are times in the early seasons of West Wing where it really feels like Gordon Bombay is running the country, essentially the world, because they are so similar and they're so much alike, especially when he's younger.
When Bartlett was walking toward the Oval Office at 3:30 in the morning, he's wearing a sweatshirt, and I thought, man, he looks just like Emilio.
He does, doesn't he? Emilio! He really does. It's moments like that. They're just fleeting moments, but there are moments where I'm like, Gordon Bombay, successful youth hockey coach.
I love it.
Yeah. So
he's so good too because so we find out that Morris was killed in an explosion, and it's a very big deal.
It's a big deal.
And the president is very upset, and he says, "I'm going to blow them off the face of the earth with the fury of God's own thunder."
Yeah, pretty intense.
Yeah. Can you imagine getting that in your first table read for the week?
No.
All right. I mean,
but he does it so well. I mean,
exactly.
He does it so well. He's such a force to be reckoned with. Martin Sheen is when he turns it on.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
And I think that's it. That's
the note we end on. Yep.
Also, I just need to make a mention. I know we're just about done, but I had a dream last night that I told Richard Schiff about our podcast.
And did he love it and want to come on the podcast?
I don't remember what his response was.
Oh no.
But it wasn't negative.
Okay.
I think he was going to listen to it. I think I left it. It was like I had just happened upon meeting him in a different setting, and then I mentioned it, and then I felt like I didn't want to put him on the spot. So I was like, at the end, when I was leaving, I said, hey, well, just have your manager or your agent or your publicist, whoever, like, email me, and I'll send you the link to the podcast. Anyway.
That's pretty great.
So there's that.
All right, maybe that's an indication of future things to come.
It could be, and maybe we'll see you next time for episode 3 of Wingin' It.
All right. See ya.